Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled people. In today's episode, entitled woman gets angry at my aunt during free Christmas giveaway. Not sure if I'm the entitled person or they are. A girl thinks she's a supervisor just because she hangs out with other supervisors. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled woman gets angry at my aunt during free Christmas giveaway. As the title states, this is not my story but my aunt's. I'm only telling what I was told, so I apologize if things seem a bit fuzzy. So my aunt, who will now be referred to as Aunt M, is the director of an organization for young girls. The organization includes after-school care and summer camp. I was a part of that summer camp when I was a little girl, but I digress. Frankly to say, my aunt is very passionate about her job. Not only is she interactive with the girls, but she also goes out of her way to plan events and uses them as a fundraiser for the organization. There's one fundraiser she holds every year, minus COVID in 2021, that a lot of girls and women sign up for. I've been a part of it too, and it's really fun. She has also been like a second mother to me since I often stayed at her house a lot growing up until I graduated high school, and also because I was close to her two daughters who I grew up with. I can go on and on how much of an amazing woman Aunt M is, but we'll be here for hours if I do. During Christmas 2023, Aunt M decided to hold a Christmas thing at her warehouse. It included giving out items to people less fortunate who don't have the money to get stuff. This also included kitchenware and exercise equipment. All these items were free, by the way. It was the first time she held this certain event. Aunt M explained that for the most part, the event went really well and a lot of grateful people were happy with what they got. However, there was one woman, not so much. We will call this woman Sharon. According to Aunt M, Sharon was hostile from the beginning. She was getting her items for free, mind you, and she was complaining how she wasn't getting more. At one point, Sharon said to Aunt M that she recognizes her and got on her case. She also then called Aunt M a bitch. Aunt M then went on to say to Sharon how she has been aggressive since she showed up to the warehouse and that she was getting these items for free. She also told Sharon how she was doing this on her free time and this isn't something that she has to do but chooses to. Despite all this, when I asked Aunt M if Sharon still got all of her items, she said she did, which surprised me. I would think if someone talked to me like that and called me a b*tch, she could just leave her things and leave. However, Aunt M said that she plans on doing the warehouse thing next Christmas, but Sharon is now banned from coming back. I'm sorry if it's vague, but I'm only explaining from what I remember Aunt M explaining to me. But really though, some people can be so entitled, even getting their things for free. Auntie M vanquished the Wicked Witch of the West. No more ruby slippers for her. Tell your aunt to put up a sign, we reserve the right to refuse service. Just as a heads up, apart means separate from. It's the opposite of what you meant. She shouldn't have gotten anything for being annoyingly belligerent and super ungrateful for getting free things at all. Not sure if I'm the entitled person or they are. I was sitting in my car trying to get home this morning. The streets in my neighborhood are all one way but they go in opposite directions. So most people have to drive up one street in order to get to an address the next street over. I drove down the street next to mine like I normally do so I can get home after dropping my dog off at daycare, but I saw the trash collectors still working. Since they appeared to still have at least half the street to get through, I started to back up with the plan to head down another street to get home. Unfortunately, a couple of cars started lining up behind me. The way they were lined up, they were still able to see the same garbage truck that I could see several yards away, but they refused to let me back up. Instead, they honk their horns and yell out their windows angrily at me. I'm pissed at this point, so I pulled over and let them pass, but this is a residential street in an inner city, so there isn't much room. Again, I'm getting angry, yelling and honking. I can't move forward. I can't pull over much more, but I attempted to give them a bit more room. These two, I think it was two, maybe three, Cars finally inch past me, flipping me off as they pass by. I try to back up again, but now there's a school bus blocking my path. Okay, so clearly this isn't going to happen. So I resign myself to sitting in this queue until the trash collectors are finished. Ahead of me are the same cars that demanded that I get out of the way, but now they are angrily honking their horns and yelling at the men working. This of course isn't encouraging them to work any faster, and all told everyone ended up sitting there for close to 10 minutes before we could get to the end of the street. If these people had used their heads and their eyes to back up, we all could have moved off the street and gotten on our way much faster, but they were determined to be complaining. But I have to wonder if I was the one being entitled for expecting them to move at all. Was I wrong to think this made sense to everyone else? Or is there a better way to look at this? It's a one-way street. You don't go the wrong way down a one-way street except in exceptional, usually emergency, circumstances. You were entitled to be mad at them for protesting that you were traveling in the wrong direction. They were entitled for honking and shouting at people who were just doing their jobs. Ever seen what happens when trash collectors go on strike? It's bad. They are a vital part of our infrastructure and well-being and should always be respected. Everyone but the trash dudes and the bus drivers sucks here. You started an entitlement tsunami. Backing up on a public road is illegal and dangerous. You were the entitled one here. Sounds like you were going the wrong way on a one-way street, and got mad there were people going the correct way. But I have to wonder if I was the one being entitled for expecting them to move at all. Yes, you absolutely were the entitled one here. A girl thinks she's a supervisor just because she hangs out with other supervisors. Hello Reddit, I already apologize for my bad grammar. English is not my native language, but I needed to vent somewhere because I can't stand hearing that there are people like this everywhere, and that I shouldn't take it to heart. So about a week or two ago I started a training month due to my recent hiring, and with that came all the problems in the first day. This girl, let's call her Jane, she got very close to 2 supervisors and a quality reviewer, and the red flags started there. On the first day she was already wanting to decide who would go where at her pleasure. Of course none of us paid much attention to it. About 20 minutes later she again tried to perform a position that is not hers. A colleague and I were commenting on something about the subject of training that I thought wasn't important enough to interrupt the coach's explanation. Just out of nowhere Jane stood up and said, "Everyone stop." He looked at me and my colleague and said, "What you are doing is disrespectful, so please stop with the side conversations." I didn't react because I couldn't understand what was happening. I was so embarrassed. But my colleague, he's not the type to take it and leave it at that. So he responded with, "Disrespect is acting as if you had a higher position to expose 2 people who were really avoiding disrupting the flow of the class." And then our hell began. Since then Jane has been trying to ruin us in many different ways, and her ego continues to rise, because her supervising friends endorse, and sometimes even encourage, her superb attitudes. Yesterday afternoon was when shit really hit the fan. Same situation as last time, only this time I came with my weapons ready. She took the same attitude again, and that's when I lost my shit. I got up and said, "Zip your fucking mouth. We are tired of your BS. You're a TLMKT worker like us and act as if you were better than us, but you are not, so close yourself off in your insignificance." In Portuguese sounded better, I swear. She turned red, lowered her head and called her friends. I thought this would be the end, but I was wrong. The group was released for lunch and everything was going well until, when we got back, the coach was empty as if he had been threatened or something like that, and soon after he made everyone change places except, that's right, the management group. Since then Jane is trying to ruin my image in the company, inventing lies about myself and my colleagues. I know I'm not a saint, but is she right? Am I really the problem? This is seriously ruining my sanity. Portuguese take no prisoners. FR Portuguese have the best curse words. Supervisors who encourage that behavior is the worst, like part of your job is to shut that down. I don't get it. Why would they even want an employee that thinks they're hot shit and tries to delegate in their place? Sorry you have to deal with that, When the managers won't do shit, there's really not much to do that won't make your own work-life hell. I'd play dumb, ask your actual supervisor if Jane is his supervisor too. You need to have the roles clarified. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.